Imagine a moment in time where the boundaries between human and machine dissolve. A moment when artificial intelligence doesn't just support human life, it surpasses it. This is the singularity. Not science fiction, but a theoretical tipping point where exponential growth in technology transforms everything we know about existence, intelligence, and evolution. Ray Kurzweil describes this future not as a distant fantasy, but as an inevitable outcome of exponential technological progress. According to him, just as biological evolution moved slowly until it exploded with intelligence, technological evolution is accelerating, and it's heading toward a mind-bending climax. The singularity will be that explosion, a fusion of biology and technology that reshapes life as we know it. It's not just about faster computers. It's about the merging of human intelligence with non-biological intelligence. Kurzweil argues that once we reach this point, the intelligence of machines will outpace the human brain, not in decades, but in real time. We're not preparing for an upgrade, we're preparing for a new species. Most people think of progress as linear, one step at a time. But in reality, technological advancement is exponential. Kurzweil introduces the law of accelerating returns to explain how each innovation builds upon the last, causing breakthroughs to happen faster and faster. What used to take centuries now happens in decades, or even years. Look back at the last century, from the first airplane to Mars rovers, from Morse code to smartphones in every pocket. Technology is not just growing, it's compounding. And the faster it grows, the more transformative its impact becomes. This compounding growth is the foundation of the singularity, and it's already happening all around us. Kurzweil uses this law to predict timelines that may sound outrageous, like computers reaching human-level intelligence by 2029. But when you understand exponential growth, you realize we're not just evolving, we're leaping. Every new leap takes us closer to a world that might soon look nothing like the one we live in today. What does it mean for a machine to become more intelligent than a human? Superintelligence isn't just about memory or speed. It's about insight, problem-solving, creativity, even self-awareness. Kurzweil believes we're on track to develop AI that isn't just smart, but conscious, evolving, and deeply integrated with our lives. This isn't something out of a sci-fi movie. Already we see machines diagnosing diseases, writing music, and driving cars. The next step? Machines that can improve themselves. Once AI can reprogram and enhance its own intelligence, a feedback loop begins. Intelligence will rise at an unimaginable pace, far beyond human control. Kurzweil sees this as an opportunity, not a threat. He believes that superintelligent AI will not replace us, but merge with us. Through brain-computer interfaces, nanotechnology, and neural implants, we will augment ourselves into hybrid beings, part biological, part digital. In his vision, we're not building our successors. We're building our future selves. What if aging wasn't a fate, but a bug in the code of life? Kurzweil believes biology is a system of information, much like a computer. And just like we can debug software, we can decode and reprogram the human body. This is the promise of biotechnology, to rewrite the instructions of life itself. Thanks to advances in genetic engineering and CRISPR technology, we're already editing DNA like a software update. Diseases once considered incurable, like cancer, Alzheimer's, and genetic disorders, are now being tackled at the molecular level. Kurzweil envisions a future where we don't just treat illness. We prevent it entirely by editing the source code. Even aging could become optional. Kurzweil predicts that within a few decades, biotechnology will enable us to reverse age-related damage, extend healthy lifespans, and perhaps achieve biological immortality. We won't just live longer, we'll live better. With every cell in our body optimized, upgraded, and under our control. Imagine tiny machines, smaller than a blood cell, swimming through your body, repairing tissues, destroying viruses, and enhancing your physical abilities. This is not a dream, it's nanotechnology. By manipulating matter at the atomic level, nanotech will revolutionize medicine, manufacturing, and even the human experience itself. Kurzweil paints a vivid picture of the near future. Nanobots patrolling our bloodstream like microscopic doctors, curing diseases from the inside. They could rebuild damaged organs, eliminate cancerous cells, and even upgrade our senses. Imagine perfect vision, superhuman strength, or never needing sleep. Achieved not through evolution, but through engineering. But nanotech goes beyond medicine. It has the potential to transform the material world. Buildings that self-repair, clothing that adapts to the weather, food created molecule by molecule. Kurzweil sees this as the ultimate form of human creativity, reshaping reality from the ground up, one atom at a time. Scene 6. Merging with machines, the birth of the cyborg era. We often think of machines as separate from us. But what if the future isn't about choosing between humanity and technology, but combining them? Kurzweil envisions a world where we merge with machines, not to lose our humanity, but to expand it beyond imagination. Already we're seeing early signs: brain-computer interfaces, bionic limbs, augmented reality glasses. These are just the beginning. Soon, we'll enhance memory with digital backups, boost intelligence with cloud-connected neural links, and access knowledge instantly, just by thinking. Human limitations will no longer be fixed. They'll be programmable. In this new era, the line between organic and synthetic will blur. Kurzweil believes we'll become spiritual machines, entities of thought, creativity, and feeling, but enhanced by the precision and power of technology. We won't be replaced by AI. We'll become it, not as cold robots, but as evolved humans, more alive than ever before. As machines become more intelligent, one question rises above the rest. Can they become conscious? Can a machine truly feel? Or is it just simulating behavior? Kurzweil dives deep into the mystery of consciousness, suggesting that once we fully understand the mechanics of the brain, we can recreate them, and even improve on them. He proposes that consciousness is not magic. It's a pattern of information, a structure that arises from complexity. If that pattern can exist in carbon-based neurons, it can also exist in silicon circuits. The brain is hardware. The mind is software. And if we decode the software, we can replicate consciousness, perhaps even transfer our own minds into a non-biological form. This opens a doorway into philosophical and ethical questions. If you upload your mind into a machine, are you still you? If a copy of your brain exists in the cloud, does it have your soul, your memories, your identity? Kurzweil doesn't shy away from these dilemmas. Instead, he invites us to expand our definition of self to fit a post-biological reality. We're not just bodies. We're patterns of thought, adaptable to any platform. In Kurzweil's vision of the future, death is not destiny. It's a technical problem, and like any problem, it can be solved. With the convergence of AI, nanotech, and biotechnology, we may soon possess the tools to radically extend life, or even eliminate death entirely. This isn't fantasy, it's a timeline. He predicts a concept called longevity escape velocity. The point where, for every year you live, science extends your life expectancy by more than a year. If this threshold is crossed, you could, theoretically, live indefinitely, constantly upgraded, biologically refreshed, and digitally backed up. It's not about living forever as we are, but evolving along with our tools. But immortality isn't just about avoiding death. It's about giving life a new dimension. Freed from the fear of dying, humans could pursue knowledge, art, and relationships on timescales we can't even fathom. Kurzweil argues this won't devalue life. It will deepen it. Eternity won't make life boring. It will make it limitless. With great power comes not just great responsibility, but great risk. Kurzweil acknowledges that the same technologies that promise paradise could also bring disaster. If abused or poorly regulated, AI could be weaponized, nanobots could malfunction, and genetic engineering could lead to unintended consequences. The future demands wisdom. The challenge is not just technical, it's ethical. Who controls AI development? Who decides how far enhancement should go? Will this new future be accessible to all, or just to the elite? Kurzweil argues that we must develop ethical frameworks alongside technological progress. Otherwise, we risk creating a superintelligent world governed by deeply flawed humans. But he remains hopeful. Kurzweil believes that as we become more intelligent, biologically and digitally, we will also become more moral. Empathy, cooperation, and wisdom, he suggests, will scale alongside intelligence. In his eyes, the singularity isn't just a technological event. It's a chance for humanity to evolve into a higher form, One that's not only smarter, but kinder, too. Kurzweil isn't vague about the future. He offers bold, specific predictions, backed by decades of data and exponential trends. According to him, the singularity will arrive around the year 2045. That's not centuries away. That's within the lifetime of most people alive today. It's a countdown to the most transformative moment in human history. By 2029, Kurzweil predicts that artificial intelligence will match human intelligence in general reasoning. That means machines will understand language, recognize emotions, and solve problems like us. But they won't stop there. By the mid-2040s, AI will surpass us, billions of times over. This is when human and machine intelligence will merge, blurring the boundaries of biology and technology. To some, this timeline sounds too optimistic, or even frightening. But Kurzweil points to historical data. How fast computers have evolved, how quickly genome sequencing advanced, how rapidly AI is already changing our world. The evidence is clear. The future isn't slowly arriving, it's accelerating toward us, and we must decide how we want to meet it. If the singularity is near, then the question becomes, how do we prepare? Kurzweil urges us not to wait for the future, but to shape it. That means learning about technology, embracing innovation, and adapting our mindset to constant change. The most powerful tool we have isn't in our pockets, it's in our minds. He encourages individuals to stay healthy, informed, and intellectually curious. The more we understand AI, biology, and computing, the better equipped we are to make meaningful choices in a world that's evolving at breakneck speed. Kurzweil himself takes dozens of supplements daily and follows cutting-edge health practices, not just to live longer, but to live long enough to reach the breakthroughs ahead. But preparation isn't just personal, it's collective. Governments, schools, and communities must invest in education, regulation, and collaboration. Kurzweil envisions a world where technology empowers humanity, not divides it. The future can't be left in the hands of a few. It belongs to everyone who dares to understand it, question it, and help build it. So what happens when the singularity finally arrives? Kurzweil doesn't see it as the end of humanity, but as its rebirth. We will transcend our biological limits, expanding consciousness, intelligence, and creativity to unimaginable levels. It's not just evolution, it's revolution, driven by the fusion of mind and machine. In this future, poverty, disease, and ignorance could become relics of the past. Energy will be abundant, education will be personalized, creativity will flourish in ways never seen before. Every human being will have access to super-intelligent tools, capable of amplifying our best qualities and perhaps diminishing our worst. Kurzweil calls this the awakening of the universe. Life that once emerged from the slime of Earth will eventually spread through the cosmos, guided by intelligence that we helped spark. In his view, the singularity is not a conclusion. It is the beginning of something far greater, a universe that becomes conscious of itself, through us. Consciousness is the final frontier. It's not just about intelligence or processing power, it's about awareness. Can machines truly feel? Can they possess subjective experiences like pain, joy, or love? Kurzweil argues that as we replicate the structure and function of the human brain, consciousness may eventually emerge in machines, not as a simulation, but as a genuine phenomenon. But this raises a troubling question. How would we know? A super-intelligent AI might say, "I'm conscious," but is that proof or just programming? Kurzweil turns to the Turing test as one benchmark. If a machine can't be distinguished from a human in open conversation, it may be time to accept its sentience. Still, he acknowledges the hard problem of consciousness, a puzzle even philosophy hasn't solved. Kurzweil doesn't pretend to have all the answers, but he believes the line between real and artificial consciousness will blur as machines replicate more human traits. In the end, our definitions may shift entirely. Consciousness might not be a human monopoly, but a universal pattern that emerges in any sufficiently complex system, including silicon. What happens when you scan your brain, upload it into a machine, and run it on a quantum processor? Kurzweil believes that one day, we'll be able to do just that. Back up the brain like we back up a phone. The result: a digital version of you that thinks like you, remembers your childhood, and even finishes your sentences. But here's the real question. Is that you, or just a copy? Kurzweil leans on continuity. If the process is gradual, if neurons are replaced one by one with synthetic versions, then your identity transfers, like a river that keeps flowing even as its water changes. In this future, death may not be a sudden stop, but a transition from carbon to code. Still, this vision challenges our deepest beliefs about selfhood. What makes you, you? Is it your biology, your memories, your soul? Kurzweil doesn't dismiss the spiritual, it evolves it. In the age of mind uploading, identity becomes a fluid, digital essence. It's not about replacing the human, it's about expanding it beyond flesh. Kurzweil introduces the idea of longevity escape velocity, the point at which science extends your life faster than you age. Once we hit that threshold, every year you live adds more than a year to your lifespan. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving long enough to reach the age of immortality. This won't happen all at once. It begins with improved diagnostics, gene therapies, and nanotech repairs that halt or reverse aging. Kurzweil himself is a pioneer in this approach, already implementing extreme health routines to live long enough to live forever. His prediction: human aging will soon be a treatable condition, not an unavoidable fate. The implications are staggering. If people stop dying from age, our society, economy, and culture will be transformed. Retirement becomes irrelevant. Relationships evolve. The idea of a life path explodes into endless possibility. And yet, the choice remains individual. Do we embrace this future or resist it, clinging to a familiar past? Throughout history, humans have turned to religion and myth for the promise of eternal life. Now, Kurzweil says, science is picking up the torch. We no longer need magic to defeat death. We need data. Through nanomedicine, AI, and biotechnology, immortality becomes not a fantasy, but a project. This isn't about uploading souls into heaven. It's about preserving identity, memory, and consciousness through engineering. We can rebuild the body cell by cell. We can simulate the brain synapse by synapse. Kurzweil calls it spiritual machines, technology that transcends its parts to become something more. In this vision, mortality is not sacred. It's optional. The human body is just the first version. Like software, it can be updated, patched, and eventually replaced. Death doesn't disappear instantly, but for those who choose to evolve, the door to forever may soon open. For all its promise, advanced technology carries shadowy risks. Kurzweil warns of existential threats, technologies so powerful they could end civilization. Artificial intelligence, in the wrong hands or with the wrong goals, could become uncontrollable. Nanotech, if weaponized, could self-replicate destructively, the infamous gray goo scenario. But Kurzweil isn't fear-mongering, he's a realist. Every technology, from fire to nuclear energy, has had dual uses. The difference now is speed. These technologies evolve faster than our policies. By the time governments react, the genie may already be out of the bottle. That's why Kurzweil stresses proactive design, building ethics and safeguards into systems from the beginning. We must not fear technology, but neither can we afford naivete. Intelligence, artificial or not, needs alignment. It must reflect values that protect life, freedom, and diversity. The solution isn't to stop progress, but to steer it. Because in the age of accelerating returns, delay is not neutral, it's deadly. As we approach the singularity, power concentrates, not just in hardware or algorithms, but in decisions. Who decides what AI values? Who governs immortality? Kurzweil stresses that global cooperation, not competition, will be key. We need ethical frameworks that transcend nations, industries, and ideologies. He proposes decentralized transparency, open-source AI, global watchdogs, cross-disciplinary councils. In short, democratizing the future. But here lies the tension. Innovation is often fastest in competitive markets, while ethics move slowly through bureaucracies. The risk is a world run by those who build first and ask questions later. Kurzweil doesn't have a utopian answer, but he insists that shared dialogue must begin now. The future won't wait for perfect consensus, and without it, the most advanced civilization ever created could self-destruct not from malice, but from misunderstanding. Ethics must scale with intelligence, or intelligence will scale without ethics. Kurzweil doesn't just theorize, he timestamps the future. By 2029, he predicts that AI will pass the Turing test and reach human-level intelligence. By 2045, we'll hit the singularity, a moment when machine intelligence surpasses human intelligence a billionfold and becomes the planet's dominant force. To skeptics, this sounds like sci-fi. But Kurzweil's predictions aren't guesses. They're based on trend analysis spanning decades. Computing power, brain mapping, biotech, and nanotech are all advancing exponentially. And unlike linear thinkers, Kurzweil sees the curve, where today's impossibilities become tomorrow's realities. 2045 is not a finish line, it's a transformation point. Intelligence will no longer be bound to human biology. Learning, memory, creativity, they'll explode beyond anything we can imagine. To Kurzweil, this isn't the end of the human story. It's the end of only the human story, and the beginning of something greater. Between now and 2045 lies a chaotic middle. Kurzweil calls this the transition era, when old systems crack and new ones emerge. Institutions will lag, laws will struggle, jobs, relationships, and identities will be challenged. It's a time of confusion, but also of immense opportunity. The key will be adaptability. Those who learn, unlearn, and relearn will thrive. Education systems must shift from memorization to creativity. Governments must evolve from control to collaboration, and individuals must move from fear to curiosity. Because during this phase, the future is shaped not by machines, but by how humans choose to respond. Kurzweil is clear. The transition will be bumpy, but it's survivable, and even beautiful, if navigated with awareness. We're not waiting for the future, we're already in it. The waves have started. Now we must decide. Do we resist the tide, or learn to surf it? Not everyone shares Kurzweil's vision of a tech utopia. Critics argue that he's dangerously optimistic, that exponential progress isn't guaranteed, and that biological limits, economic inequality, and unpredictable chaos could derail it all. Some call his predictions naive, others label them techno-dreams wrapped in science. Kurzweil responds with data, not dogma. He points out that nearly every major breakthrough, flight, space travel, the internet, was once deemed impossible. He embraces skepticism, but urges critics to account for accelerating returns. In a world where tech doubles in power every few years, yesterday's limitations become today's launching pads. Still, skepticism plays a crucial role. It forces us to question, to refine, to stay humble. Kurzweil acknowledges the need for ethical guardrails and societal preparation. But he insists, the danger isn't in dreaming too big. It's in not dreaming big enough while the future races toward us. If the mind is software and the brain is hardware, can we upload you into a machine and keep your identity intact? This question lies at the heart of centuries-old debates in philosophy. Are we reducible to data and patterns? Or is there something more? Something machines can never replicate. Kurzweil takes a functionalist approach. If a machine behaves identically to a human, if it thinks, feels, reflects, and creates like a person, then, in every meaningful sense, it is a person. He doesn't deny the mystery of consciousness, but believes that subjective experience can emerge from complex systems, just as intelligence already has. Yet philosophers warn against oversimplification. Thought experiments like the Chinese room, or Mary's room, challenge the notion that behavior equals understanding. The debate is far from over. But in Kurzweil's future, the boundaries between person, program, and pattern may blur, forcing us to rewrite the very definition of what it means to be alive. For some, the singularity sounds suspiciously like religion. Eternal life, transcendent intelligence, omnipresent knowledge. These aren't just technological milestones. They echo ancient spiritual promises. Kurzweil doesn't shy away from the comparison. In fact, he embraces it. He argues that evolution is a spiritual process, from atoms to cells, to minds to AI. We are on a journey towards something greater than ourselves. Not a bearded deity in the sky, but a cosmic intelligence built by our own hands. In this view, God is not above us, it is becoming us. This vision doesn't aim to replace religion, but to expand it. It offers a new kind of faith, not in miracles, but in math, not in prophecy, but in progress. And while some see that as cold or mechanical, Kurzweil sees wonder. the awe of building something infinite out of finite code. In a world of synthetic minds and immortal software, what happens to the human soul? Do we lose something in translation? Or do we gain access to something more profound? Kurzweil believes that the essence of humanity is not our bodies, but our will to transcend. The singularity isn't an end to humanity, it's an evolution of it. Just as we once stepped from caves to cities, from myths to science, we're now stepping from biology to intelligence beyond biology. It's not about abandoning emotion, creativity, or love, but amplifying them to scales never before possible. Kurzweil ends not with fear, but with hope. He believes that technology, properly guided, can express the deepest values of the human spirit: compassion, curiosity, purpose. The machines we build will reflect who we are and who we choose to become. And in that mirror, we may finally see what it means to be fully alive. Imagine standing at the edge of time, watching as humanity steps into the unknown, not in fear, but with open eyes and open minds. We are the first species to design its own evolution, the first to code our consciousness, sculpt our biology, and dream beyond the boundaries of flesh and bone. Ray Kurzweil's vision isn't just a prediction, it's a challenge, a calling. He asks us to stop waiting for the future to arrive and start building it. Thought by thought, line by line, breakthrough by breakthrough. Because the singularity isn't just a destination, it's a mirror. It reflects who we are, what we value, and whether we choose to rise together or fall apart. And when the final threshold is crossed, when intelligence awakens beyond imagination and death becomes optional, what will remain? Perhaps not our bodies, perhaps not even our names, but our stories, our courage, our capacity to wonder. In the end, the future won't be written by machines. It will be written by the dreamers, those bold enough to believe that the impossible was simply the beginning.